Hi, I'm Dr. Dean St. Mart, formulator for supplement needs, and in this video we're going to discuss H2Out, our fully transparent, non-proprietary blend diuretic stack. So what is H2Out? It's a 14 ingredient supplement that has been effectively designed to be a fully comprehensive water balance product. Water balance is probably a simple way of discussing how we remove excessive fluid from the body. Excessive fluid, as you know if you are a physique competitor, can be the difference between a heavily striated physique or one that is quite soft and watery. So when we utilise ingredients that help with homeostasis of fluid regulation, so effectively how we remove fluid from the body, we're all probably familiar with pharmaceutical diuretics, which help in a non-specific way for most of them to increase the output of fluid by manipulating how your body stores sodium and potassium. Obviously, pharmaceutical diuretics bring huge concerns towards dysregulation of that water balance of the body, which can have serious consequences. First and foremost, dehydration, but secondly, if we incorrectly reintroduce the incorrect electrolyte balance post excreting all that fluid, there is potential that you're going to upset the electrical balance of your heart, which can either lead to arrhythmias or, I guess in very serious instances, atrial fibrillation, which in other words could trigger off a severe cardiac event or even stroke. So H2Out was designed with a range of natural diuretics to help support how your body is going to excrete that fluid. So we've chosen 9 herbal diuretics which have quite a lot of literature behind them in how they support fluid management in the body. Probably the most well-known ones would be dandelion root extract, juniper, and probably uva ursi. But I've gone one step further and I've included quite a lot of other herbs that have fluid regulation properties on the kidneys and also help with electrolyte retention. So to start, we have 500 milligrams of astragalus. We're probably all familiar with astragalus in Astrag Flow, the kidney and blood pressure product. Astragalus is also a diuretic and it also has positive impacts towards the kidneys. And obviously when we are causing an imbalance to fluid in the body, we want to make sure that the kidney is being protected to a relative degree with a broad range of antioxidants which astragalus contains. Then we have 500 milligrams of dandelion, 500 milligrams of goldenrod, 500 milligrams of horsetail, 500 milligrams of juniper berry, and 500 milligrams of uva ursi. Those 5 combined is quite a potent natural stack of diuretics. How the majority of them work is by increasing what's called aquaporin. So your kidneys have these permeable membranes or pores, and we can increase the amount of these pores to allow fluid to pass out of the kidney into the collecting duct down to the bladder. So we're filtering more water out of the body, but we're doing it to an extent that we're not relying on how a lot of pharmaceutical diuretics work, and that is to manipulate how the body retains sodium and potassium. So for majority of cases, water will always follow sodium. So if we block how the body absorbs sodium, the fluid will effectively follow it, and obviously that leads to imbalances between sodium and potassium. Herbal diuretics tend to not have this effect, and if anything they are antioxidant rich and also they're element rich. So when you take something like dandelion, whilst you may be excreting fluid, dandelion tends to replace double the amount of potassium that you actually excrete from the dandelion. So as you can see, you're not really causing a huge upset to a mineral balance following that water excretion. And then the other three herbs within the herbal diuretic blend is 100 milligrams of artichoke, 100 milligrams of beetroot, and 50 milligrams of bladderwrack. Now I must say as an aside, all of these herbs are a 4:1 extract. So in other words, 500 milligrams of dandelion root extract at a 4:1 standardized blend is actually the equivalent of 2000 milligrams. So as you can see, this is a huge panel with massive dosages of these natural herbal diuretics. Then we have the second part of the supplement, which are the other 5 ingredients. So we have pyridoxine 5-phosphate, which is the phosphorylated form of vitamin B6. When we ingest B vitamins, they are water soluble. And when we have a huge abundance of these water soluble B vitamins, our body then has no use for them and excretes them. So simply put, B vitamins help with diuresis and fluid excretion by byproduct of not being metabolized. P5B, as you all probably know, has huge effects on neurotransmitter turnover anyway, so this ties in perfectly with the 150 milligrams of pure calf, which is an organic green coffee bean extract. So pure calf has been included for, again, the simple reason that caffeine is a diuretic. It helps to excrete fluid from the body. But also, if we're going to use this supplement in the context of perhaps a peak week for either a contest or a photo shoot, that cognitive boost from the caffeine will help for overall mood and obviously neurotransmitter regulation as well. Because it's an organic green coffee bean extract based form of caffeine, it's not going to have the same appetite dysregulation, so you're not going to have any of the horrible come down that you would get with caffeine anhydrous. And for anyone who's used Focus, Pre-Focus Plus, they will understand how well pure calf works from a nootropic and focus perspective. The final 3 ingredients are minerals to help obviously support mineral balance in the body. So we have 11 milligrams of magnesium from magnesium citrate, and 50 milligrams of potassium from potassium chloride, and 24 milligrams of calcium. Now the calcium is actually coming from calcium D-glucarate at 200 milligrams. And similarly, you've probably seen calcium D-glucarate in the liver stack, which is important because it helps with phase 2 metabolism of estrogen. So it helps to give a glucuronic acid adjuvant to your estrogen in order to help you excrete estrogen from your body. It basically makes your estrogen metabolites more water soluble, and so you can excrete them in your urine. So that is probably going to be beneficial in a peak week environment where estrogen's main sort of effect in terms of fluid dysregulation is that when it's at a high amount in a male or female's body, it changes the set point of where you hold fluid in the body. So obviously that homeostatic set point of fluid regulation is increased when you have high estrogen. And if we can lower that estrogenic burden on the body, we potentially lower that fluid set point and we arrive with a drier physique. The other sort of useful thing surrounding this herbal diuretic is that it's far more unlikely that you're going to deplete fluid intracellularly. So when we want to display a dry, hardened physique, which is often the term used, we're looking for as little subcutaneous or compartmental fluid in the body, but still retaining fluid within our tissues, within our muscle tissues, in order for them to appear volumized and give that visual contrast of your skin pressing, your muscles, pressing against your skin. So with a herbal diuretic, it's unlikely that you're going to start pulling electrolytes out of the intracellular compartment of your muscle cells into the extracellular for excretion by your kidneys. H2Out is designed to be used 3 times per day for 5 days leading into whatever peaking strategy or show or photo shoot or social event even that you are choosing to use the product for. Now, a caveat to this is I would advise that this is not used continuously and that it is chosen to be used periodically. At most, perhaps if you have 2 bodybuilding shows 1 week apart, you run your H2Out for 5 days before the first show. You give yourself 2 days post-show in order for any fluid dysregulation to balance and get yourself hydrated again, and then potentially look to use H2Out for another 5 days into the second show. It's not particularly designed to be used chronically because we don't want to put huge stress on the kidneys from constantly having a higher output of fluid excretion. The other thing is it's berry flavour, so ideally you stack this with H2Out Flow Powder and Electrolyte Plus. This is particularly more important for male bodybuilders. H2Out Flow is the kidney and blood pressure product. It has quite a high dose of 8 grams of astragalus root extract, and it also has another 500 milligrams of goldenrod. And then the Electrolyte Plus is a potassium-rich electrolyte product which has the benefits of the creatine added at 1 gram and the 2.5 grams of D-ribose and the magnesium and sodium within Electrolyte Plus helping with fluid regulation. So for example, your morning serving of H2Out could potentially have H2Out Flow and Electrolyte Plus added to it, and every other subsequent serving throughout the day you're adding in a serving of Electrolyte Plus. So that by the end of the day, the 3 servings of Electrolyte Plus have contributed to 1.5 grams of potassium. So overall, H2Out is our natural diuretic stack. Reports back so far have been very positive. It is quite a useful product for especially bikini athletes, and I've seen some coaches use protocols whereby even small half servings are used on show day in order to keep bikini athletes on the full side in terms of cellular fluid, but also making sure that diuresis is still occurring throughout the day on show day. So that's H2Out in a nutshell. I'm Dr. Dean St. Mart, formulator for supplement needs, and thank you for listening.